now we can.
I think that's, do you remember when I made that mistake? I think that's how I made that original mistake. I recorded to the cloud, I think, instead. Okay.
Oh, I hate that thing with the. I used to see when you were recording, and I don't see the red button. Do you see a red button when you're recording?
It's on screen. Hold on. Yeah, it says record.
Yeah,
Yeah, see right here over the top. Yeah,
because I used to. Oh, I see it. I got it. Okay.
funny when no, you don't see it when you're on screen sharing. Okay, so this one, I feel like you did follow a lot of my directions, and you definitely created a really nice horizon line, and I think that love. It's funny, like I love the lower right corner,
I
and
do too.
I
Yeah.
love the upper left corner.
Hmm.
But then I'm not sure about the opposite. Like I love everything on this, like this diagonal line here. So I'm gonna actually, I think the best way for me to work on these is actually in Photoshop. I think it's the most helpful way for you.
Yeah, it does help. And then I take a
And
screen grab and
yeah, and it's almost like I can kind of be like hands-on with your work.
yeah. The only thing, and it helps me a lot to visualize what you're talking about. I found that some of the suggestions that work in Photoshop, I'm having trouble actually doing it with the pigment sticks. But
Well, right, but I feel like that, like I could give you, I feel like you should just email me when that happens and I can
okay,
verbalize. I think sometimes
okay,
like I could verbalize the steps of the technique that equal, like kind of like equivalent exposures, like this equals
exactly.
that and this equals that. Okay.
That
So
would help because
yeah.
I can I love what you show me on Photoshop, and then it's, oh, I can't do it. Okay.
I'm just gonna make my screen brighter. Is that helpful?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
I don't know why my screen just looked dark. So this side is beautiful. Like
Love
everything
it.
to me, everything about everything that we do and everything that we want to achieve with wax, I think is happening here. I feel like this side is too hard. Like the edges are
Okay.
too hard. Also, I feel like the color is wrong. So
Like
sometimes
that green.
I
Okay.
think that color is wrong as far as lighting goes. So you're a photographer, and and I'm a photographer. So what photography is really about is not only about objects and placing them in the frame, but also lighting, right?
Yeah,
So do you see how your
I
flower?
do. As soon as you said that, I realized, oh, the upper left is like the sun, it's light, and it
Right,
should be
and you used a flower, you used either a found flower. I can't remember if you took that picture of the flower or
it was a napkin.
okay. But in the napkin, it's painted with highlights and shadows, right? So the
Mhm.
highlights are happening here where there's lighter color and the
Yeah.
shadows are inside. So that means that to tell you that there's light around it or
Hmm.
light hitting it. So if light is hitting this area, it's not going to be this dark green color.
Right.
So
Right.
that's
Mhm.
so first thing, like, and I mean, you could go quickly. The easiest thing to fix this might be just to go into the skirt here,
Mhm.
and brighten this, right? And then, I mean, and see, even if I just see if I even just lighten this,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. I do see it.
it's gonna make a big difference. Like that's literally all I had to do, and now I like it better
So now,
because it makes sense. It just tells it makes sense that that flower is the light, as if it was
yeah,
like
it
a
does.
lamp and
And-
it's shining down on her. Also, where else could you put some light? Right here, right on her, even on her face,
oh, okay.
right? So do you see how like the light is not hitting her? Right?
Hmm.
She's having like that aha moment, and then
Hmm.
the light is hitting here. So, I mean, I went to paintbrush. I added up, I sampled this white. And if you
Hmm.
look, when you sample colors, it's kind of fun. It gave
Yeah,
me
yeah.
white and gray mixed together. So grayish white. If you sample like over here, it's giving me the same. So that's kind of, I'm just,
Right.
like what see now it's giving me like white and green.
Right.
So like green and pink. Okay, so it kind of gives you, if you were painting, you could say, oh yeah, off-white and a little bit of gray mixed together will give me this color that I need.
So I feel I can do that definitely on that dark green, because as soon as you mentioned it, I said, oh yeah, that's awful. Where I think I have trouble is like with the face.
Uh-huh.
Um, it's hard for me to, I don't know, I haven't had any luck using the pigment, like a lighter pigment stick to lighten something. There's some other things I've tried and it doesn't work. So tell me how I would do that. Her face.
Oh, I mean, I would just, well, the thing about it is that it's such a small area. You
Hmm.
probably want to take the pigment stick, maybe put it on a paintbrush
Yes, yeah.
and did you ever spot photographs,
Yeah.
spot print?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
It's not really about painting her face. It's just literally like you are putting makeup on her and you're just putting a highlight of white like on her
Okay.
cheekbone. Like even if you just it's not as literal as what you're thinking it is.
Mm.
Even here, like I mean, I'll go back. Let me just go back. I can take away what I did. Look, I'm taking away her face. I'm taking away,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
You can see what it was.
Right.
So technically, let's talk about problem solving, fixing this. One of the
Hmm.
things you could do is paint over it with encaustic, which is going to be the hardest way to do it, right? It's probably going to cause you the most problems and it's going to
Right.
make life too complicated. So like, let's X that out. So no to encaustic paints. The
Hmm.
next option would be scraping back that green a little bit, which you probably could do. I don't know what color is underneath there, but you probably could do it with a scraping tool. However, you would probably end up messing up something else. So scratch that. Your
Okay.
next option would be, yeah, the pigment stick. So what you could do is, do you have blender? Do you like to use that?
I do, and what I'm finding is if I put it on with a paintbrush, I see the strokes. So if I put it on a little bit with the paintbrush and the blender,
Mhm.
and then I use my finger, it's a smoother surface, so you don't see the kind of the streaks of the paintbrush. Does that make sense?
So right, so every time you put pigment sticks on, they're achieving your goal with the color, but they're also reacting to the surface that you're putting them on. So it's not like you're
Mhm.
putting them on a flat surface. So you have to sort of negotiate how bumpy a texture that is and
Mhm.
all of the sort of things about it. So if it's a very bumpy texture, I just put it on with my finger.
You just don't even do the paintbrush at all. Okay.
If it's really bumpy, the problem with bumpy is that if you use a paintbrush or you put pressure on it, it's going to end up going into all the little spaces
Cracks and
and
yeah, yeah.
it's going to make the dark color actually contrast by popping it forward. So
Yeah.
if you just really want to go over top of it, you
Mhm.
could try just gently with your finger hitting the surface, because remember it's like a raised surface, so you have the top layer and then you have the wax on it. So if you just
Yeah.
put it on the top, you don't want to push down on it.
Okay, that makes a
Also,
lot of sense. Yeah.
yeah, you can also, I always tell everybody that with the wax you can literally like drop it, like air bomb it, right? So instead of wiping it over the surface, which has a certain effect, you can literally just airdrop it so it goes right on top, right?
Uh-huh.
Right on top and doesn't actually mix, so to speak,
Mhm,
with
mhm,
what's underneath of it. It's just like literally think about like putting jimmies on an ice cream cone. Like you're not swirling the jimmies into the ice cream.
mhm.
You want the jimmies outside the cone
Okay.
ice cream.
Okay. I'll try that.
Right? So that way, and then you don't have to fuse it. It will eventually dry. You have
Mhm,
more control over it, right?
mhm,
And it's really like it speaks more to that sort of like the psychology of the viewer.
mhm.
If you can tolerate it just putting it on like that, it's going to work for you. Also,
Okay.
you don't have to put it on just white. So what I was going to try to say is make the color that you, so don't think about mixing the colors. If this is already dried and set, don't
Mhm.
think about trying to mix it with, just put the color on there that you want.
Okay.
So like you don't really want just straight white here. You want a lighter green. And I would go, so let's just do this for a second. If I wanted to take my eyedropper, I probably would go of all of these greens, maybe like I like this green.
That's really light. Okay. Okay.
So let's just try for a second, just not to put white on there, but let's just put this lighter green on there and see if that.
Mhm.
So I'm literally, and so it's working, but I think I need to mix it. It's doing the trick. It looks lighter,
Mhm.
but I
Mhm.
feel like we could add I also want to add a little bit of white, like so a whitish
Mhm.
green, right?
Yeah, so play with that. Okay.
Do
All
you see
right.
that? And that literally could be like just little three little fingerprints, or if you're more comfortable with a brush. The problem, I like to paint with my fingers. The only thing I don't like about it is sometimes that I actually can see like my fingerprint in the work.
Yeah, I think it depends on,
And that
yeah.
kind of bugs me. I actually, it irritates me now. I'm like, ugh. So what I do is I use a tiny bit of extender. Okay, it sounds funny, but I use a tiny bit of extender on my finger, and then I put the pigment stick on my finger on top of the extender. And what I think it does is keeps my fingerprints
Oh, off.
being
Okay.
in the paint. It's almost like wear a glove.
Yeah, I got those little like mini glow, like it's a one finger thing that I put on,
Oh
you know.
yeah, that's so
different
cute.
co-
Yeah, I like for when you're
colors.
flicking through papers or something.
Yeah, but I can that way I can do different colors with different finger.
Oh,
Anyway.
that's cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so but I'll try that. Put the a blender on finger first, and then
Yeah.
whatever the pigment is.
Yeah. And so did you see
I'll
here?
try
Like,
that.
do you see? I'm literally just adding like white to her cheek.
So you're just doing it as that air
Well, I
bond.
did it. I did it as a dodge, but I'll do it as a paint
No,
thing.
it's okay. I get what you're doing. Yeah, there was something you had you. Oh, I didn't show it because I didn't like how it came
But
out.
so you see, I kind of just put like three dots of like white on
Like,
her cheek.
okay.
I mean, and again, just remember when you're not loving a painting, check your lighting, like go over it, take a picture of it, right? And go back to your basic, like 1, 2, 3 spectral highlights and remember like which direction is your light coming from? Are
Mhm.
your place things all like do they make sense? Are they working together? Because I think what happened here is that this became stronger and distracting when you really wanted to be like over here.
Over where?
Well, you really wanted to be in this corner, like you wanted to enjoy this, but this part was
Mhm.
distracting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay.
also if we blow this up, like I'm not sure this line is distracting too. So
I can't. Oh, here. Okay. For a while, I couldn't see where your pointer was, but go ahead. Which
no,
line?
like this, like
Yeah,
what
I don't like it either. Yeah.
so I mean, technically that's a tough area because it's kind of like in between dress and
Hmm.
landscape. Maybe just like it needs, maybe just take this just a little bit, like just
A little gray, a little gray to.
yeah, just add, yeah, I think that's even better. Just let's see. Yeah, that's better. I mean, it's just fabric or whatever. Just reduce this little green.
Okay. Okay. Some neutral gray. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, like if you just put color over top of it, don't try to mix it in. It sounds to me like what you're trying to do is you're trying to change the color by mixing the colors in, and I think that's where you're getting frustrated because you're
No,
not.
no, not always, because I usually, one good thing about my traveling was I was gone, so I could let something dry and harden
Oh,
and then
right, right, right.
pop.
Yeah.
So I usually wait for that because otherwise it's such a mess. No, it's impossible. I wait for it to dry before I get in there again.
Right.
So, okay, these are great suggestions
Right.
because
And I don't mind this side going dark. I like her dark hair. I like the dark green hair. I like the little bit of yellow. I'm a little bit confused about this guy.
I don't see your pointer.
This
Oh,
guy, like
oh
these
yeah.
sleeves. I mean, I just am
Yeah,
not sure of like like if they're necessary. Let's just look at
just
it.
take it out. Yeah. And those other bumps, the green bumps,
I
Yeah,
just think it's better without. It doesn't really make sense to me.
right.
And
Mhm.
again, like you don't have to dig it out. You don't have to
Yeah.
do anything. Just put a little bit of light blue over top of it. And it can be, you can have a little bit of green there. Like that doesn't bother me.
And then what about those two bumps? I feel the same way.
These two, I like them. I think they look like trees in the distance. In the
Oh, I hadn't thought of that. Okay.
yeah, they look like landscape. I actually really like them. And I'm okay, so this area, I
Mhm.
think I think that this can totally stay here,
Mhm.
but I'm questioning how much visibility it gets. Like I think if you put like a wash of blue over it,
Okay.
and maybe like
Tone it down.
this lighter color, like very, do you see how this is light
Uh-huh.
and light blue and light, and then if you put that over here,
Okay.
look at it, let's just look at it like toned down a little bit. And you can literally, you could
Mm.
put, so
Yeah, I
some,
like that. Hmm.
sometimes Pam, you can go back to wax medium,
Hmm.
just wax medium as being a layer over color, over encaustic wax, over pigment stick. It's all dry and it's just too bright. It's too much. Just put encaustic wax medium over it, and
Uh-huh.
then it'll be smooth. And then you could lightly color it light blue. Like I like this, I like this. I like that kind of dark aura arch around her. And then these things sort of, eh,
Mm-hmm.
like cloud fantasies. I think that's nice.
Yeah, I really liked working with it. This
I
is
like
like
this one,
second
yeah.
try on it, and I just went back in, and this is much
No,
closer to
I
what.
really like it. And I'm just playing around with this. I mean, you can play around with this little hill when you paint it, but I mean, it just looks like it was like a little reflection there. But that's nice. Look how much it just makes such a difference that that hill's a lighter color.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Thing
that.
how to see.
It's so close. Yeah, this one's really good. I'm gonna save this one as, what do you call it? Woman in the garden.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine.
All right, good job. I like this one. All right, so retouch. I'm gonna save this one. All right. Any questions on that one? You're good.
Oh, I'm good.
All right.
That's
This
a
one.
detail. So I wanted to talk about this. I know I'm not finished with that. I still want to do, well, there's several things I'm looking at to work on. And you tell me if I'm on track or not. I want to do a better job with the rainbow on that one, the butterfly one.
Oh, this one. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and then some notes, probably put some notes or butterflies. I haven't decided yet. I did try to tone down the writing, the text. So I put several coats of just plain encaustic over.
Uh-huh.
And I might do some dribbles or some, I don't know, I might do something else. So the hard thing are the butterfly wings, because
So
this all.
wait, before, just remember, you don't have, okay, so if you want to blend something out, use encaustic wax or encaustic paint of the same color that you're blending out. So, and then if you need to, use some pigment stick again in the same color. So it's literally like you're just adding, I just did this actually in a painting myself. So I wanted to blend everything um smooth. I didn't want the background.
Hmm. Hmm.
I didn't want to see the lines of the stuff I had underneath. So I just kept layering in the same color. So first I just used encaustic wax, then I used a slightly diluted neutral wax, then I used pigment stick, all in the same color. And it just
Yeah, yeah, it hasn't been toned down enough. I would like to be able to see, for someone to be able to read it, but not have it so prominent.
yeah. I mean, and again, like it looks like there's plenty of wax on there.
Oh
The
yeah.
only thing about adding, the only thing about I would actually add this color. Wait, let's just try it for a second. Because
Oh,
if you add that light color, it's the same color as her skirt.
mm,
So do you
mhm,
see how I just am trying to like blend? So literally this would be like what you would be doing, either with, right?
mhm, mhm.
So I kind of like, I mean, it wouldn't be that solid, but it would be, you know, that I like that color tone because then that allows her skirt
Oh, it's
to be
right.
lighter. Like you don't want to go as light as her skirt because that competes.
Right.
And I think
Yeah,
that's nice.
I do too. I think I like the idea of maybe having a different um different opacity so that it's like the words peek through, you know, like
Sure. Yeah. Or if there's one of the words, or if you wanted to write and, you know, and size them, or, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of things you can do
okay.
here.
All right.
I mean, the way it is now, the way it reads now is that that space is a doorway, right? So,
Oh, yeah.
right. So then, you know, you can make this space all one color, which is interesting because it's a contrast to the rest of the environment, which is this blue world, right? So then you create this other world. And
Hmm.
the way this is, it kind of is like the shape of like a tombstone or something, you
Oh, I
know?
hadn't even thought of that.
Right. So she's like,
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't. I just look at shapes and like I think
Yeah.
about like
Mhm.
recognition or like memory or just triggers that remind me of other
Mhm.
things.
Cool.
Um,
Mhm.
you could also, you know, have fun with kind of like painting some of these leaves. You know, like take it, like you know, if you want the plant reference, you didn't color the plants in our hand, which I think is kind of interesting.
Oh, I haven't finished yet.
No, I like them black and white though. I mean,
I'll just leave them. Okay.
well, this is what I was saying is that this grows over this, you know.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and extend the idea of the leaves. Oh, interesting.
I
Okay.
mean, and it can go fade from, you know, sort of I mean, it's just an idea, but then
Mhm. Yeah, I see where you're going with it.
it maybe changes it too much. I mean, it doesn't, it's either way. Maybe that's, I mean, once you get the text where you want it to look the way you want it, then you can decide if you're gonna do,
Okay.
you know, add something else or not.
Okay.
Right. That's so good.
Mhm.
I mean, even just a tiny little bit of green down here would be interesting, you know, like I can't draw with that line, but whatever. All right, so then the rainbow, red,
Yeah,
yellow,
and it's too
green.
opaque. I want to make it, you know, more of blended in and have a another one other color in there. But I just don't like it right now. But yeah.
Maybe orange. Well, you have orange. I mean, red, orange, yellow, green, blue. You have a lot of blue. I wouldn't use blue. You could add some orange
Hmm.
over like here, I guess.
Okay.
Um,
It's just it's something that part I didn't really. I just put it on there and then went on to the wings, which are really hard for me.
yeah, look, the orange looks good. Look.
Oh, I do like that. Ooh, ooh, yeah. I just ordered the was it azarine, the translucent orange.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah,
great.
because I want to use it for something else, but it might be cool. But yours is opaque. Okay, that I do like that. That's kind
Yeah,
of
the orange is a good color because
yeah,
it you got it here in these wings. I like the
absolutely.
way you handled the wings a lot, and I really like the way you handled her dress. What is going on here? Is this
It's
a piece of paper? Is that
it's
a collage paper?
it's
I love
not
it.
it's it's tissue paper, but not it's hard tissue paper, and it's
Oh, I
not
like it. I think it's really beautiful. I wouldn't hand color her. I
yeah.
mean, I actually really like this piece. I mean, I would add one more color to the rainbow.
Okay.
And now that you added like that orange up there, it's like makes me want to
Oh, I
add
like it. Yeah.
like a little, I don't know why, just like orange here. And again, like this can
Oh,
be,
just it's a touch. Yeah, because I like how you have um little what do you call it? Accent notes around, you know, but you pick up a color that's from one place and then you just
I like to do, I don't know if it's my anxiety. I always, I just, if I put it somewhere, I got to put it somewhere else. I'm
It
just
makes sense. Yeah, I really like
very,
it.
very lightly, or just even as if it's just bouncing off of something.
Mhm.
No, I like this one a lot. I think it's close. I think if you add some orange and just get rid of that, soften that text at the bottom.
Yeah, okay. Well, the next one is a detail of the wings because I want to talk about it because I was trying to
Okay.
do some problem solving and I I'm not sure it's where I want yet, but okay.
Let me look. You want me to look at this one?
Yeah, yeah, okay. So do you see how, okay, so what I did is I cheated and I took a copy of a beautiful moth swing that someone had drawn because it looked to me like some kind of India ink
Uh-huh.
lines and then it was colored. So I
Yeah.
tried to bring up some, see the whorls?
Yeah, I love it.
That's with the India ink.
Mhm.
And I couldn't bring them all up exactly. I'm just trying to go over it with pigment stick and
Mhm.
then lifting parts so you could see the black designs in there. But I
Yeah.
would like to learn how to do that. Like, could I do it with India ink and then start putting pigment stick over? I mean, I've never used India ink, but I'm just guessing that that might be the way it was done, the original.
So it was a marbled piece of paper.
No, no, it was it's a beautiful it was in a magazine. It was a moth swing, but it had been drawn because there were these black whorls which wouldn't be in nature. And I just thought, oh, that's so
Yeah, it kind
interesting.
of reminds me of like the inside of a shell. You know how like it looks
Yeah.
like the
I mean,
inside.
I could if when we switch off of this, I can go and get what I copied, and I was trying to get the colors and I couldn't get what I wanted. So I'm just wondering if that's something I should, start experimenting with, like doing some India ink kind of things underneath and then adding colors.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know how to,
Sure.
yeah. Okay. Well, I don't want to do it now because I know you've got it just on the screen, but when you flip off, I'll run get what I took a picture of. So you'll
Okay.
see what the original was that I was working with. But
Yeah,
that
it's
was the book I
beautiful.
was, well, if you saw the original, it's like really beautiful. So I have another question.
Mhm.
On the pink and kind of orangey lower wing,
Yeah.
I tried to kind of blend it out, like soften it, not have a hard line. And I was wondering if that looks okay, or if I should.
So right here, where they're right here.
I
I think
don't.
it looks, I mean, I think it looks okay. I think it's interesting how they're split.
Well, no, it's going over into the background. So if you go to the left of the
Uh,
picture,
right here.
yeah, right that. I tried to make it a soft line.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, this is the hard line for me here, where this one
Oh,
is,
so maybe soften that some.
no, I think it's fine. I actually like it. I think it's
Oh,
good. I
okay.
think it works for you here.
Oh, okay.
No, I like it.
So, and you're saying don't paint in the colors in the flowers, just leave all of the subject as black and white.
I like the flowers black and white.
Okay. All
I
right.
mean, there's so much color going on in the whole thing. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
that this is a statement. And I like the color popping out here. I mean, I don't think that the color is going to do you any justice competing against those wings.
Yeah. Okay.
And
All
it's
right.
kind of like the things that you gave life to are for a reason, right? And they're like they're the reason that they have color and sort of life because they're in contrast, to what
Mhm.
doesn't,
Hmm.
right? So it's like she's in between. I wouldn't want too much color because then it would almost become, I think it would just
It's too
take
competing.
away. I think it would take away from the meaning of it.
Okay.
I think you're using those techniques to give it more meaning. And I think if you hand colored it, I mean, that's interesting too. Just even look at it like, why are you being so weird? I don't like that. I like it better without the text though. I mean, I like just the minor changes that we made. I like
Oh,
the
yeah.
position of
No,
the
I do. But
orange,
yeah, let me make
and I like a little bit of orange flowers, and I like the elimination of the text.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. Okay, good. I can
I
look
think
at
it's great. I love the texture in here. I don't think that this line, I like this line almost has to be sharp because look how sharp it is over here.
Hmm.
It just wouldn't make sense.
Well, that's where I softened it on where you are now. I didn't, but I don't think I softened it on the other side. So you're saying it should be soft or?
No, I like it harder. I mean, I think it's fine the way it is. Just don't make it any softer.
Okay, all right. I won't do anything else. Okay,
Yeah, I think it's fine.
good. Well,
I like these line. I mean, I like her popping up this background, that clarity here is nice.
mhm. I did try and put some of the gray on, even though I hadn't finished it, but I remember the other one I
Oh,
did.
the graphite gray, yeah, can help a
Yeah,
lot.
except I'm not doing graphite gray because I find it too dark. So I have like a neutral gray, like a 50% gray, what I would think of as a dark room 50% gray, which is lighter.
Okay.
I find it easier to work with, but okay. All right,
That
great.
sounds good. Yeah, this one's close. I mean, and again, like the nice thing about having multiple pieces too is that you can move forward a little bit and then look at it, study it,
Uh,
look at it, see how you feel about it before you go further.
yeah, I'm finding it really helps to be juggling some, and then if it needs like a couple of weeks to dry, I put it down, and yeah, it helps to do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But I was not the ones I was working on. I really didn't. I didn't even. I'm not even showing you. They were so horrible. I just forget it.
Well,
All
but
right.
again, but I mean, I have stacks of horrible paintings too, and it's funny how
Funny.
you have to just be like, I can't deal with you right now, and deal with something that makes you happier,
Right. That's exactly what I thought. I said, this is not working. I want to do things that I'm excited about playing.
Yeah, exactly. No, exactly. And then yeah, and come back to it later or scrape it down, get rid of it,
Yeah,
and
I think I learned a lot from the mistakes I was making, but yeah, I'll come back to them later.
yeah,
So we
totally.
can get on to one that I want to start. I mean, you had printed this almost a year ago, and now I really want to get to it. So
Okay. This
now,
one. This one?
yeah, yeah.
That's
So
beautiful.
what I love this, and
It's
so
such a beautiful picture. It's really beautiful.
I was hoping maybe you could help me strategize how to do this. I still want to do the style. Oh, that you sent me a card of one of your pictures, and it was all
Mm.
basically whites. I mean, the woman had a black dress on. I think she's holding flowers, and I think it's ginkgo leaves. And there were some. Actually, I could show you that too. But that's the look I would like to have, where it's basically grays with just a little bit of color. In fact, I think when you printed it, it's lighter than this, so I think it's a good.
Wait, did you collage
I
these?
know. Well, so what I want to do with those, and it was just to save printing space, is to take each of these masks and have a mask on each side of her face. Now, I was just trying different sizes, but
Right,
like a mask on the right and a mask on the left.
right.
And I had a different image in mind when I asked you to print this, but now I really want to do one that's in, the white, light grays, maybe a little bit of black, and just, and maybe do a stencil down here. But what I think I'm having trouble conceptualizing, like, I already made that frame, and
Uh-huh.
I'm just wondering if I should do the frame differently in encaustic wax, or just totally do encaustic over the whole picture and just work with what's there, or I'm just having trouble. To me, it seems like I need help strategizing the steps on this one.
Yeah, how big is it?
Well, there's an 8 by 10 which I could start on, and then I think there's an 11 by 14. Once.
And you're gonna cut the mask out and add and glue them onto each side of
Well,
it?
I may not with this one. I may with the first one. I may not even do the math because that was for another image I had in mind with her,
Yeah.
and
I mean, I think it's beautiful. I mean, I'm for whatever reason, like I think if you leave it all cold tone, just like black and white, you're gonna have, it's gonna feel flat. It's gonna feel
That's
flat.
right.
You want, yeah, and because the wax is gonna flatten it more. So there's not that much depth in the picture, right?
Mhm. Well,
So,
see that little tangerine that you did on the other rainbow? I was saying
uh,
a little, like a little touch of color here and there.
yeah, you could do like a raw sienna, you can do an orange, you could do blues. I mean, you can do any accent color on her. And her scarf could be just a color, like her dress could be white, and then that piece of fabric around her head, in her hand, that could be the color. I mean, you just have to decide where you want the color, or the background could be in the color, almost like all, it's so in vogue right now that they do these smoke bomb pictures where they have like rainbow smoke and different colored smoke, because what the background suggests, like she's out of, again, a fire, right?
Oh, I hadn't even thought of that. Okay. Huh.
It's very fire, like the smoke, like an ash of a fire, right?
Huh.
So
I
uh,
hadn't thought of that. Okay.
I mean, that's how I read it, is she's kind of like, chant it, praying or doing something, important to sort of like compensate and balance this like turmoil behind her. So, whether that's like a terracotta color, so basically the gray, you know, or the light color, they can be a darker color. I mean, you've done a lot of really interesting used a lot of interesting colors, such as the terracotta, reddy oranges. She's gonna pop if you put her in color and leave the background white. She's gonna pop. If you put color in the background and leave her white, she's gonna. I mean, either way,
Okay, so you're saying, okay, so it's foreground, background. All right.
I would wax her. I would decide. You know, I would decide. I mean, you could do a whole series of these. All the elements. I mean, the mist could be the forest. It could be green mist. The mist could be the ocean. It could be blue. The mist could be a volcano. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I hadn't even, I do think this is one that I want to make different variations of, which is how you were teaching me to
yeah,
do three different
it's
variations.
such a strong image. I mean, then you can cut her out too. I mean, you can leave her on this background, but you can cut her out and put her in another background too.
Mhm,
You
mhm.
know.
Okay.
Um, Yeah, I mean, I would brush it gently, I mean, if you want to do brush or dress in a separate direction, um, this a stencil, I mean, you could expand those flower, she's got this beautiful rose on her. Is she laying down?
Yeah.
I mean, this line, I mean, again, so the flower just evokes the line. I mean, from here, you can take this line
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
anywhere. You can connect, right? So you can connect this line.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying, like,
Right, right.
that I just did like
Yeah.
whatever, but do you see what I'm saying? Like, this
Yeah.
is the line, right? And so is it connected to, and what is it connected to? I don't know. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. 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 Okay.
Be There can be more flowers, like then like there's bigger flowers up here, like, right? I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I
I
just,
mean, you have to kind of run with it, and I think you just need to start playing with them. I mean, how many? If you have a couple prints,
yeah, I have the 8 by 10 and 11 by 14, but then if I do those two and then I want to do something else, I would ask you to do some more 11 by 14s.
sure.
Let me just,
I love it in the earthy colors. I mean, it's so pretty. It reminds me of that. It's very Joyce Tennyson, and like even like or like the ashes and snow pictures.
oh, right. I love the ashes and stuff. Well, the thing is, I think for maybe because, well, it just snowed here today, but we're in winter and there's a part of me that you know, I love all the vibrant colors, but Rue, come on. Rue, come. Sorry, I gotta get the dog inside. I went to pick some stuff up to show you, and she thinks I'm taking her out. No, she's fine. I'm really, there's a part of me that really wants to try just basically the black and white. And when we get back to the screen, I'll show you the picture, your picture that, you know, I've wanted to do something like this for a long time, but
I
I
mean,
also like the ideas you're telling me about. So
well, think about too, like that there's a lot of things about wax and white wax, off-white wax that remind me of both, you know, snow or even bone, right? Like even bone.
yeah, that's kind of where I was going, and it maybe even tone down all the a lot of the texture in the background. That now that I'm looking at it, I thought, oh, that's a lot.
Right, but if you painted it with white wax or off-white wax, and then you put like a dark pigment stick into it, it'll just show up all the, you know, holes and bumpies of the wax.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know.
Okay. All right. So I'll play around. This is what I want to do over the holidays. Just really,
Yeah.
you know, devote myself to playing with these.
Yeah,
So
that's great.
there's another
Oh,
accessory.
the other email. Did we get the other email? Hang on.
Yeah, if you have time. So
Yeah.
wait a second. Since you're on the screen now, so this is your picture that,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's the one, you know, when I came, I went to something like that, and we got off to something else, which I love.
Those are just those just all white wax. I mean, really just I know it's nice just to work so simply like that. That's a really beautiful.
I love it. And there's, you know, you have just a little bit of color, you know, just very soft.
Very black and white picture with a lot of white wax on it. I did the stencils in white wax and then I just rubbed the charcoal gray pigment stick on there.
Oh, the charcoal gray. Okay.
Yeah, the black, the ginkgo leaves were done with black wax.
Black wax. Uh-huh.
Yeah, black encaustic wax.
Okay.
And then like when you do something really contrasty like that, then you can just use like all the milky colors to kind of tone them down so they're not so cold, you know, so contrasted.
Yeah.
So you
Okay.
can use like light gray, like you were talking about, like that light gray, not the dark gray, but the light gray or neutral white, and you can just kind of rub those on there to sort of take the, you know, take the contrast away.
You're right. I see on top, you soften the okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
like cerulean, you know, and again, you can layer, you know, you can really layer wax and pigment sticks, and you know, don't forget you can fuse the pigment sticks, so you don't have to wait for it to dry.
I don't know, for some reason, even in dry Arizona, it takes a while. Maybe because I put it on so thick. So
Well, but if you have a wax surface and you put pigment stick on it and you fuse it, the wax underneath should absorb it and it should be totally dry, like right away.
yeah,
Maybe just practice that, like not on a piece, but just on a sidebar. Practice wax, pigment stick, fusing it, and then you can paint. You know, you can.
Because that's something that's really held me up sometimes, you know. And then I feel like
to dry. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
So this is that moth thing, and I don't know if you can see the.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful.
Isn't that beautiful? You know, and I wasn't able to do it, but yeah. So that's a whole nother thing I'd like to play with, and I don't know anything about acrylic. I don't know. Anyway.
I don't know. I don't really play around that much with the inks. It's like even like the shellac, like it kind of reminds me of what the shellac does.
Yeah, I don't like
circle, but it was just like it was just a little bit too gimmicky for me. I mean, I tried it. It was cool.
Yeah, it was just because of that moth wing. I thought, oh, I want to be able to do that. Okay, let's go to the second email.
Yeah, this one's cool. So, oh wait, hang on, let me screen share. I'm looking at it. Hold on.
Yeah. So
wait, are we want me to go back? Hold on, let me go back.
Yeah, if you go, I just want to show you briefly, tell you what I want to do, and then I think we're running out of time. Oh no, don't do those yet. No, that's
we have like 10 minutes.
Okay, well, wait. So start with this one. All right.
Okay.
So when I watched with Painting with Fire, I watched Regina Quinn,
Mhm.
and I was really intrigued by how she takes dark colors and then she takes the translucent colors on top. So
Okay.
I put this together in Photoshop, just kind of show different steps. So this one I thought would be really good to, to um to have the dark and then have the light, the moon or whatever, and then the moon, what do you call it, the moon trail, using that alizarin orange
Mhm.
or
Yeah,
yellow.
I love it. Yeah.
But so the first question with this, which I would call the basic, is one thought I had. It took me a long time in Photoshop to get the detail of the sky. So
Mhm.
I'm thinking I could either um, take a picture of just this, what I have here, and just wax it and then color it. Well,
You mean
or
to reduce it to a black and white, like desaturate it and use it, or
yeah,
use it
yeah.
as,
But
yeah.
the other thing I was saying I could do would be to make the background, set the background with the colors, and then do a stencil of the tree, the bare trees, and lay that down because I like that effect of the dark stencils
I
against.
would just use the photo. I don't think you'll ever be able to stencil anything like that.
It's too
No, the trees are beautiful. They're so veiny. I would just use this image.
okay.
I would
That's
use this photograph, and then if then you can play around with, incising parts of the tree, or like
so if I did the photograph, it would have to be pretty translucent to get the color in the background, right? If I did a black and white photograph, how would I get the color to
well, you
not
would
cover?
wax it, and then you would wax it with just encaustic wax medium, and then hand paint it.
Hand painted, but it would have to be
Pigment sticks, translucent. You'd have to use like,
translucent. It would have to be
yeah,
translucent.
you'd have to use like green, gold, and neutral white and blue.
Okay. And I'm gonna have all those colors. So okay. And then after that, then I would do like a cutout and
Uh-huh.
just pigment stick or encaustic, but rub that in to make the moon and this part. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, to make that circle, you could even just do like a medium. You could do a stencil, make yourself a stencil of a
Yeah. Okay.
circle,
And do it's okay.
and
Uh,
put it down there in like an orangey, in an orange color.
okay. And then so the second picture, I
Like you,
have a woman in there.
uh-huh.
So if I suppose I set up the background, but
Yeah,
it's
then you would cut her out, and you'd cut her out and embed her in the wax.
in the wax.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And so it would have to be like a rice paper, like the
No,
hand.
she could be printed. Do you have like a regular computer printer?
No, I got the what do you call it? The Epson printer, and I've just been doing stencil tissue
Well, you
paper.
even want like a color Xerox. You even just want like a Xerox. I mean, I would take your good picture of your woman to a Xerox place and get a Xerox paper picture.
A good, okay, not try and do like a
Not
hand.
a super thick paper. No, you wanna if you're gonna embed, you have to be like magazine weight, or
Well,
find a
suppose,
woman in a magazine.
but the hand mill rice paper that you use, is
You
that
can use that. You can use that, but it's going to absorb the wax and maybe even possibly show like marks. You know what I mean? It's gonna be,
okay.
whereas like a magazine picture may or may not absorb, it won't show that thinner paper. You need a
Okay.
paper that's not going to give away your wax, like stain. It isn't going to stain.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And actually with the moth wings, I did a good Xerox of with the colors. So,
Yeah.
and I embedded that, and that seemed to work, and that seems to be in there. So okay, that's what I'll do with the figure.
Yeah, whatever, whatever you can get it printed on that won't, the rice paper is beautiful, but it's beautiful because it reveals its contact with the wax, right? It's like, it stains, it has like drippies on it, it kind of shows, you know what I mean? So if you,
No, not really. I'm trying to think because I haven't used it that much. I've used
I have
some.
a page right here, I'll show you.
Okay.
It just shows what. Because it's semi-translucent, it just is gonna, it's gonna do what it wants. It's gonna do, see how it shows, like, this is all waxed, but it doesn't react, the paper doesn't react the same way from the wax, like
Oh, okay.
it stains, right?
So
So you
I have
have to
one
be
more.
interested in that.
I have one more rice paper that you printed for me a long time ago, and I've been wanting to work with that. So maybe I should
I'm
also.
wondering if there's a lot of ink on the woman. If there's a
Yeah.
lot of ink on the woman, maybe you won't notice the staining as much. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, because she's dark. Okay.
Yeah, she's wearing dark clothes. I mean, that
Mhm.
might cover it up.
Okay. All
I would
right.
try it. I mean, I would try it. And again, like if you're gonna do something like if you're gonna do something this specific, change your variables slightly. I think that your best bet is that the trees are in a black and white photograph, and you
Okay.
put encaustic wax over it, and then you use pigment sticks to get that color.
Translucent pigment six.
Yeah, the blue, yeah, the blue, that
Mhm.
that ultramarine blue, and the
Yeah.
green gold, and then the yellow. Okay, then you can lay down a stencil of that orangey circle. I would do that with encaustic wax, and then you're gonna put her on top of it.
Hmm. So here's a
And
actually that.
I would make at least two, make two of the same piece and change the paper that you use the figure with.
Okay.
That's my recommendation.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, I was just, I don't know, just figuring it out.
Yeah, no, I like it.
So actually I have another question. I just ordered, I think it was a turkey green, and is that
Yeah.
translucent? That
Oh,
is the
I don't know. That's not one of the transparents. The
what's
transparents are green, gold, ultramarine blue, and
green gold.
that crazy orange.
Yeah. So I already have the blue, and I'll get the orange, and
Green, yeah, and the green gold.
okay. So I don't, all right, I don't have the green gold. That's what I need. Okay, great. Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
I think
I'll look forward to seeing that. So wait, is this how
yeah.
it, okay, this goes right back. It's funny. This goes right back to where we started. What do you think I'm going to say? Read my mind. What am I going to say?
But that fern thing, what is that doing there?
No,
Where's the white?
I've always liked that part of it.
Oh, I see it as she's lying there. I see it now. That white thing on the bottom of the dress, the light's coming from above. So
No,
the bottom,
this part,
well,
this part.
there's no border.
No, what bothers me is this thing. Wait, hold on. I'll show you. That green ribbon, it's all one color. There's nothing,
Oh.
all one color. Like that's just not a thing. It's like,
Okay.
I'll
I
show
thought
you.
you were gonna say, do your border. You gotta have a border. Okay.
You're bored. No, I don't mind. I mean, technically, I don't mind. This looks like it's just underneath something else. I don't know. This, I'm just gonna go to a simple dodging tool, but it's
Mhm.
interesting to me how, like, I think
Okay.
this is okay.
Mhm.
Although, like, from here, it's gonna be hard. Like, there should be highlights and shadows on this ribbon.
Okay. All right.
Gonna be hard for me because it just doesn't make sense that it's
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Hmm.
like, even if it's just like, okay, add, and again, like, add just like
Hmm.
light green to it, you know what I mean? There's just no way that ribbon's gonna be even if it is that color, it's just not gonna exist like
Yeah.
that. Just
Okay.
won't. Um,
And I totally messed up.
what?
You had me fix the flower on her arm and I totally messed it up. So I
Which
got to
one? This? Which one?
the
The one
one,
on her top arm?
yeah, yeah. So that's where I got to, and I'm not sure if it works.
I mean, and too, technically, like this could, you could even brush a little bit of encaustic medium over this ribbon. It's just like two,
Okay.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just to dull it
I can
down.
do
Um, this flower, you know what you need to do to this flower is give it a center. So a lot of times, like that's how I establish my flowers, is I just give them like strong centers, right? So, like in here, what I'm
Oh,
saying?
yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah, that helps. Yeah, I
Because
see.
that'll just, I mean, maybe that's the wrong color, but that'll just establish,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
and then you could add a little bit of that color in this flower too. I don't know. I mean, this is like not the color. This is too
Yeah.
on.
Well, so does she originally I had her vertical, but you had suggested doing a horizontal.
Oh, I like her, but I like her like this. I
So
mean,
does she need does it have to be a border of what do you call it? Horizon line. That's what I'm trying to say. Does it need, do I have
well,
to
she's
put it
no, this is like she's like, this is to me, this is the shoreline. Like this is the garden and this is the ocean or the water, or the lake or
Oh,
whatever.
I see. Oh, and I did it because I had it as a vertical originally, but okay.
Oh,
Oh, I
see,
see.
look, that's darker red. Look how good that looks in the
Oh,
flower,
yeah. Wow.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
even a little bit down here. I mean, and technically, like you could put some. No, I think this is great. No, I like everything. I mean,
So the horizon line is already there. It's
if
just
you add a little bit of that little red, put some of it down here. Yeah, the horizon line is her. She's the horizon line, and her hair. You know, this is the ground. To me, this is the edge of the earth right
okay.
here.
I see.
That's it right here.
Okay. All right.
And then she's like leaning into the water, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
then this flower fell with her.
Mm-hmm. Dancer.
No, and I wouldn't, no. Yeah, that's why I was saying maybe put a little bit of like this, that's weird. This color, even just like the ribbons going into the water, not
Mm-hmm.
on top. It's like, maybe on a wrist and then it's dipping in.
Oh, by the way,
Oh,
this
that
is a
looks nice.
little, one time you told me about the milk baths, how it is like
Yeah,
in cost. So I did
it
that with a mom.
is.
I mean,
You
it's
did it
yeah,
recently?
yeah, well, when it was warmer, but I really
Oh,
loved
so
what came up.
I
But
know it, and yes, I have another client who actually froze flowers in ice, and they look really cool too. They look like they're in wax too. They look like they're just floating.
yeah, it was really cool.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
okay.
That's so cool. Awesome. All right, well, I'm gonna stop recording. Hold on.